Flabbergasted podcast, where we just can't believe you haven't seen it. Every episode, we discuss a movie that one of us has seen and the other hasn't. Follow us on Instagram @FlabberPod and subscribe in your podcast app of choice. I'm your host, Jessica. Let's get to it. Today, we're talking about That Thing You Do, the extended cut, which is 2 hours and 27 minutes. Ooh. This film was released in 1996. It is a comedy drama music film rated PG, written and directed by Tom Hanks. A Pennsylvania band scores a hit in 1964 and rides the star-making machinery as long as it can with lots of help from its manager. Okay, Rogge, you have never seen this movie before tonight.
Correct.
And this was on our podcast list. This is a Jeremy pick.
Mm-hmm. Yep, so that's why we're being joined by producer Jeremy today. Applause. Insert applause button. Jeremy, whoa.
What, first thoughts? You'd never heard about it?
No, I knew very little about it. I had seen, for some reason in the last 2 years, I saw a video online of the scene where it first gets played on the radio, the song does, and they're freaking out and they're running into the
appliance store.
And so what I knew about this movie was that there was this song. Also, I see it sometimes on Twitter, they will put out that thing that's like, what are the best fictional songs? Like songs created for a movie or TV show or something. And someone always posts this and all that kind of stuff. And so that's all I knew about it, was that it had a song. The song was supposed to be actually pretty good. And I thought that Tom Hanks was the drummer.
Yes.
I thought it was a young Tom Hanks.
When you saw it or when you saw clips and stuff?
In seeing the clips, he looks enough, what's his name? He looks enough like a young Tom Hanks.
Tom Everett Scott is his name. And yes, that's a common...
The floofy-haired kind of version of him.
Agree. That's a common thing. I saw this movie a long time ago. I don't remember when. I don't remember why. But I do remember liking it.
IMDb has the stars as Tom Hanks and then Liv Tyler and then Charlize Theron. Those are not the 3 stars. Not in that order. That's ridiculous.
Call sheet has the stars as Tom Hanks, Tom Everett Scott, Liv Tyler.
Yeah. Sure, that's fine, I guess. Tom Hanks isn't the star of it. Tom Everett Scott is.
Agree. So, fun credits. Did you notice the fun credits?
Didn't notice the credits at all.
They were fun. They were in fun colors and fun shapes and everything.
Can you list for me any movies that you felt like had unfun credits?
No, probably
not. You
not.
only remember them if they're fun?
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's something to draw you in right away, and I really appreciate if they're extra clever, like matching the theme of the movie. Because I think there was a time when they didn't really do that at all.
Were they in the, colorful blocks, like the Wonders? Got it.
Like some of the names were.
Got it.
Okay.
So this is set in what, the mid-60s? Mid to late 60s?
64, I think. 64, yeah.
I think that's what I liked most about the film, is just kind of that setting and the aesthetic that they were going for. For a while, I wasn't sure what it was about. I kept waiting for something really bad to happen. I thought someone was going to get cancer or get shot or something. I was like, there's no way this is just a sincere, hey, these guys had this song and it was good, and here's what a good song can get you. It's like, there's got to be something else that's going to happen here at the end. So I was really just vibing with the 60s stuff, with that sort of small town America. And I thought that was going to play more of a role into it, like the Patterson's appliance store and stuff like that.
How do you feel about Guy's dad?
I thought that he was pretty funny because he was so intense about all of the rules with the store. He just took it very seriously. But then I don't know, his relationship with Guy was weird. We just didn't get a lot of that really to know, is there a reason he hides the drums in the basement because they've gotten kicked out of something else, or he always hated when he was in band in high school or something. So I wasn't really sure what to take from it when Guy called back home and was like, yeah, I'm going to tour all summer going to state fairs, which is a big deal. And he was just like, oh yeah, I'm sure, blah, 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 play your bongo drums. I was like, I don't understand. okay, like it seems like he's very pragmatic. You know, the lights cost 45 cents a minute to stay on or whatever. So why wouldn't he be like into it that his son was making money, you know?
I think he's like, maybe that's not a quote valid way to make money.
If a guy like him, if the money's coming in, the money's coming in, right?
That's what I would think. But I feel like there's some traditional.
Yeah. He did his telemart, like if it has to be open on Sundays, I don't even want to live in a country where you have to do that just to support your family or whatever.
And I'm just like, hey, if you work Monday through Friday and you want a new, I mean, now you just order it online, but if you want a new freezer or you want a new whatever washing machine, when are you going to get it?
Well, I guess 1964 was a different time because you would just send your wife to the store. I mean, what's she doing during the day? She's the one that uses the appliances anyway.
She's doing nothing.
She's not doing anything else.
Cooking, cleaning,
getting drunk on cooking sherry.
Or she's helping you run the store.
I did like when he told his daughter that she was getting promoted. She goes, so are you going to pay me now? And he goes, well, I didn't say that.
Yeah, I didn't say that. Put that display down. That's very expensive.
She was playing a full-on electric organ.
Yeah, my grandma had one of those. I swear it looked just like that one.
Even my earliest memories of something like a department store or an appliance store wouldn't have had someone playing
an organ.
It was weird.
Yeah. That's a weird thing to have at an appliance store, I think.
Yeah.
But, I wasn't alive in 1964, so maybe I don't know what I'm talking about.
If you were alive in 1964 and want to comment on the veracity of downtown, small town America, or if you're from Erie, Pennsylvania, we'd love to hear from you.
So what did you think of Tina? We get this great introduction to a young Charlize Theron.
Well, I thought at first that Tom Hanks was going, or not Tom Hanks, young Tom Everett Scott. Guy. I thought that Guy was going to be kind of a screw up, and it was going to be that she was right about him forgetting to meet her and he was wrong. And it turned out not that way at all. We totally empathize with Guy the whole time after that. At first I was like, okay, here we go. Like she's going to dump him because he's can't keep his life straight and he's just obsessed with the drums or whatever. But it turns out that she was just like scummy. She was just like weird. I don't know. Like maybe she was a little older and just had this idea of what she wanted her life to be, but
marry the successful guy, I think.
Yeah, because she was all about like when it's going to be that neon sign that says Guy Patterson's appliance store. Yeah. And he was like, I don't. That's a bad idea. Yeah. Like we would just leave it as Patterson's because of course we would.
I feel like maybe there's nothing wrong with her specifically. It's just they were not compatible, and you could tell it pretty early on.
Yeah, you just needed some communication about
what they wanted in life.
Yeah, they should have just broken up. Yeah. I mean, they never broke up. They just sort of stopped writing letters to each other for sure. So, yeah, I mean, it was very early on. You knew it wasn't going to last because she was so weird about going to the concerts and how long is this going to take and like standing up and leaving and stuff. So
we're watching the scene when I want to hit the fun stuff in the beginning because I think it really sells you on the band, I think. When they're trying to come up with a name and the drummer's there and then they're hopping over the parking meters.
Yeah, classic.
And Guy sort of has this introduction and they chat with him for a few minutes and he's sort of like apart from them, but
he knows them.
Yeah. Lenny really seems to know him.
Yeah, he's got to be a few years older than them. Maybe he knew Lenny's older brother or something. Just kind of one of those relationships.
And Lenny seems to really know that Guy can really play.
Yeah, they called him Erie's only beatnik when he came in, and I wasn't sure if he was going to be not quite as good as he thought, or only good in a specific way. Turns out, no, he's just completely amazing at jazz drums.
And they're like, can he play? Can he keep up?
Well, he's the one that was like. Well, both he and Jimmy were like, just the one song. We're just doing, I'm with you guys for a one song gig.
Which is interesting because he loves music. You can tell he loves music.
But is he like antisocial? He reminded me a little bit of Jonathan from Stranger Things. Like he's a little bit smarter than everyone.
Jonathan is the brother.
Yes. Yeah. He's a little just smarter than everyone in a way that not everyone else even realizes. Jimmy thinks he's the smart one.
Yeah.
And really, Guy's the smart one.
Yeah. I think it's like he doesn't want to there's something holding him back from jumping into this group with everybody, like, because he could have started his own band even.
Yeah, I mean, there might not be a lot of guitarists in Erie, or they're just younger than him or immature. He doesn't want to deal with, he doesn't think it's going to be a good fit.
Yeah. I like how he's not too cool to to be him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's pretty much him the whole time.
He's very self-assured. He has high self-efficacy. He's like, He doesn't pretend to be someone he's not.
Yeah, I really appreciate that about Guy. Love Lenny. Lenny's my favorite band
Lenny's
member.
so funny.
Okay,
he just
I'm
is
glad
constantly,
you thought so. Because I'm laughing and I'm
constantly
like,
quipping.
Is Rogge catching any of these great lines?
Even when he's supposed to be serious, he's not doing it. He's cracking jokes in the camper. He's being really sarcastic right to people's faces.
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was a little anachronistic. Like, would there really have been that guy? I mean, I guess in Greece, you've got like the T-Birds who are kind of wisecracking jokesters, but they're more like Three Stooges. And I wondered if it was realistic to the time frame that he would have actually been that like sarcastic and people wouldn't have just like an adult wouldn't have just slapped him.
I don't know. I feel like we need him because Jimmy is way too intense for his own good.
He's so intense.
So I need Lenny to balance that.
When they first played in Pittsburgh and everyone started jumping around the stage and it zoomed way out, I was watching like, is Jimmy going to jump around? Is he going to like give himself into this like silliness and shaking off the nerves and stuff? And he did at that point. And I think he did play around on the big map of the US and do some of those things, but he is very full of himself. He thinks he's very intellectual.
How do you feel about like the pacing at the beginning of the movie? Because we get some very like harsh cuts to different things that are happening.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit surprised that you guys like this movie this much because there's very little exposition. There's no 5 minutes of like, here's who this person is and he's dating her and this is his mom. Mm-hmm. Like we just went and we're like, you got the minimum things you need to know. We don't know like what Tina does for work. We just were like, okay, here's Guy. He's working in this obviously dead-end dad's appliance store that he's not going to stay at, and he's good at the drums. And what I guess I really liked is that we got a lot of them playing music. Mm-hmm. It was the one song for a lot of it, but not all of it. And this is the difference between this and School of Rock. Because in School of Rock, there is very little kids playing the music.
Yeah.
And when those are the best parts for me, I really liked it. I mean, the kids were good. They were so good at it. But this movie knew what it had, and it wanted to show you their evolution. They wanted to show you, but not tell you. They wanted to really show you what could go on with the band just by dropping you into it.
I like that, and I accept it with this movie because I don't care as much about any of the other backstory things that I would normally care about because I'm so interested in the band and what's going on with them.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Like I think it's funny that Tina's shooting golf balls with the dentist.
Hello.
But
is that a euphemism?
Is that
shooting golf? They're shooting something. Something's being shot.
Is that what you call playing golf?
No, they're at the driving range.
They're the driving range.
She was hitting some drives. She was hitting some balls.
Hitting golf balls. Why did I say shooting?
I don't know.
I don't play golf. Don't I?
I only play mini golf. Though, I don't know if I've told this story on the pod. I was for one season assistant middle school golf coach.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. My buddy AJ is a really good golfer. I've been real golfing, like on a course with a cart, 3 times, I think. All of them with my friends AJ, John, and AJ. Maybe the 2 AJs. And I'm really bad. I mean, I can like putt. Like I've done a lot of putt and stuff like that. But I'll miss the ball half the time. And my buddy AJ is really good, and he called me up and was like, "Hey, I'm coaching this team, but we have a meet that I can't go to. I have a pre-scheduled thing 2 months from now. I'm not gonna be able to do it. It doesn't cut into my salary if I can hire an assistant coach. So if you can go to that one meet, and you have to drive the bus, but if you like a short bus, but if you can go to that one meet, that's all I need you to do. You get paid $500 for the season. Come to like
nice.
one or 2 practices, go to that meet, we'll be good." And I was like, okay.
Did you get in the picture?
I don't think I got in any pictures.
Assistant coach Rogge,
I went to
not
a couple
pictured.
practice. I went to an early practice, and then when that meet was coming up, he's texting me like, "Hey, there's enough kids that are going that they're getting a full bus, and you don't have to drive or anything. You just have to chaperone." I was like, "That's great." So then the day of, I'm like, okay, I have to leave because that was my first year teaching. I was like, I have to leave school immediately to get down to North Manchester so I can get on the bus with these kids. And I think I'll have time. It's like a 5-minute window. And then he texts me and he's like, "Hey, it got rained out. You don't have to go at all."
You didn't have to do anything.
I didn't even have to do that. No, I went to like the first meet with him, and it was cold just to hang out with him. And I went to the sectional meet, the last one, which was at the Waldo. And that was it. That's all I did.
That was kind of fun.
Yeah, so I was a middle school golf coach. And one time a girl asked me a question and I froze a little bit, and then I just repeated what I had heard AJ say 5 minutes before about like opening up the club face or something. She goes, "Oh, okay, thanks." I'm like, yes. Nailed it. Golf coach.
Golf coach. Oh my goodness. Okay, well that's 3 more
Shooting
times than I
balls.
ever hit golf balls.
Yeah, it's awful. I don't know why people do it. I mean, it's so you can go drink during the day or whatever people say. I don't know. But Tina and the dentist were definitely getting it in, right? We don't see it, but like...
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the implied drawing of the shades, if you will.
Oh, that's as close as it gets to showing it, yeah.
They're for sure.
But I was confident in it way before that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't go back that many times. I went to the dentist a lot there for a while, and it was like once a month. Dealing with like a gum issue. So like... I mean, maybe in the 60s it was different, but he was actually dentisting her, at least for some of that time.
Yes.
Because he pulls his like syringe and you can see the Novocaine coming out. You're like, okay.
Oh my goodness, yes. Okay, I got so distracted with the dentist thing.
I thought every time they went to like a big new stage, I thought it was going to go badly. I thought the first show at the pizza place was going to be bad, and that was going to be the down. They were going to have to come back from that, and we're going to have a triumphant final show at the county fair. Something like that.
Yeah.
Like stay local. And they kept just succeeding. Even, it doesn't really, like, they failed at the Pittsburgh show and they still got signed to a full-on record deal like that same day.
Did you pick up on this, and how did you feel about it, that Guy is the person that people go to for decisions about the band? It just sort of happens naturally, and they just sort of do it.
Even though he doesn't even write the songs or anything.
And he doesn't even like claim to, like, he does not claim to have that power.
Right. It's like, have you read
Lord of the Flies?
Lord of the Flies? Is
that what you're going to say?
Yes.
Yes.
And so it's like there's the natural leader and then the person that wants to be the leader. And if you want to assert yourself as the leader, then that means you're not cut out to be the leader, right? Leadership is foisted upon you.
Yep.
He's so personable from early on. I wonder if it's because we see him doing his salesman shtick at the appliance shop, and so maybe it's something he's had to hone, just like dealing with the public and dealing with different people and being polite. At first you're like, is he flirting with every girl, even though he has a girlfriend, or is this just kind of how he is? He's sort of like a guy that is just very friendly to Faye all the time. I thought that they slow played that so much.
And so well.
Because she didn't realize that she liked him for a long, long time. But he knew, I think, a little earlier than she did.
I think he knew that he liked her and appreciated her. I don't know that he knew that he liked her.
Yeah, liked her.
Until that option became an option. Because he wasn't going to move in on her while she's dating Jimmy.
He's a very good guy. He's very moral. He's so sincere about the music.
Yes.
He really does love jazz music.
Yeah. How did you, we're jumping around so much, but how did you feel about their like, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down? And then even when they play it, Jeremy and I was about ready to say this and he turned around and said it to me that even in the practice, he was still playing it a little bit faster.
He was playing it slow, but it was faster than he initial 1, 2, 3, 4 clicked it. Yeah.
And then they get to the thing and he's just jamming out, playing it faster. It's not like it was crazy fast.
The thing is that even from the beginning, Lenny is looking at him like, oh yeah, go slow. This is rock and roll, not a polka. And
which
so
is hilarious.
You knew he wanted it to be faster.
Yeah.
And then you get on the stage and it's like, this is the way the drummer's playing it. Like there's nothing you can do about it, buddy. If the guitarist plays it, anything, I guess he could do it like in halftime, he could play it like double slowly and it would still like hit the beats kind of, but it would sound weird no matter what. So
did you catch the
early
scene
on? You're just like, he's right.
He's trying to drag it out. Jimmy's trying to drag it out. And Lenny's trying to do like his harmonies, like chopping them off a little bit.
Yeah. And I didn't notice that.
Pushing it a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then by the time they get towards the end of the song, he's picked it up a little bit. He's still cranky about it being way too fast.
Yeah.
But it's amazing. I like it that way.
So funny.
Obviously.
Yeah, because he keeps trying to talk to him about it. He's like, it doesn't matter. Like, you never see them have a big argument. It wouldn't have been surprising knowing Jimmy the way you get to know him if he had flipped out right there at the beginning.
Yeah.
Because you see Lenny be like, I'm not trying to change your song. Like, I know it's your song. He's so territorial about it. He's so possessive.
Yeah.
About it being his IP.
I think there's something to say about that because you can't. It's a balanced thing. You can't reach the people you want to reach without signing the label. You can't sign the label without
giving away some creative control.
Yeah. And you just have to figure out with you, what are you willing to do?
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny at the end. He ends up signing with Playtone Records.
Yeah. And having multiple gold records. Yeah. As the herdsman.
As the herdsman. H-E-A.
I mean, it is stupid, but all the names are stupid in that time frame. I think they're just trying to play on the Beatles.
For sure.
It's interesting that there's a lot of Beatles references and everything else is fabricated. There's no Ronettes. There's no Supremes. There's no, like, you have stand-ins for all of those things.
Yeah.
For Frank Sinatra and all that stuff, but you don't have the real ones. Playtone, even, they didn't want to do Motown or anything like that. So it's interesting that they were willing to do it with the Beatles. And so I wonder if that's just a thing where, well, the Beatles estate historically is pretty litigious about not letting you use their stuff. I mean, famously, like that you can't just, you have to pay up to put a Beatles song in something.
Well,
they didn't have any full likenesses.
And they didn't have any music.
Right.
So I wonder if they can reference them, but the other references you're thinking about would have played bigger parts.
Yeah, could be. It was pretty well done that they were able to weave it in without actually putting their faces or music on there. I don't know. I really like the movie. I think it's so fun. I love how the bass player doesn't have a name. They never talked about his name, which is one of the things that you always see in articles and stuff. But somebody did say they just naturally say, "Where's your bass player, guy?" Mm-hmm.
And they just reference him like that, which I think is really funny.
There's one time when it comes across as stilted, I think. He's like, "Aren't you the bass player?" Or he goes like, "Come on, bass player," or something like that. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
It's a little strained.
I have a note about Faye. She's part of the band. She's at the band practices. She's making them little snacky sandwiches.
She's doing the food. She's the stand-in audience.
She's selling the records. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, Jimmy treats her okay at first. And then the more you see into their relationship, the worse it gets. Like, it's not like...
You do see him say, like, that's my girlfriend several times, but there's no affection.
There's no affection. There's no appreciation.
Yeah. Well, there's affection from her. I mean, she's like bopping along and singing and looking at him and stuff.
Like, she really believes in the journey.
Yeah.
I think, which is fun. And I really like at the end when he's freaking out, or towards the end when he's freaking out, and she just decides that's it.
Yeah.
She's done. She's over this.
Yeah. I think that all of the band members, I thought the acting was really good all the way around. The tough thing for me is that Liv Tyler plays Arwen in the Lord of the Rings movies. So to me, that's just Princess Arwen, the even star, like Arwen Undomiel. Like, she's the princess, like the crown jewel of the elvish race. And it's hard for me to see her as anything else. I thought she was her acting was a little chilly. Like, she does bop along, but she doesn't have that many lines. There's a whole chunk of the movie where she's just sick. Mm-hmm. They didn't ask her to emote all that much until she does her stuff at the very end.
Yeah.
And in that, she's fine. But I thought that, especially Guy's performance, Guy and honestly Jimmy, Lenny was a little one note. Like, he doesn't have an arc. He doesn't realize anything.
Sarcastic
He's just
and funny the whole
Lenny
time.
the whole time in different scenarios. And the bassist is also just a bit. But Guy and Jimmy, it's not being stated what's going on with them, but you're seeing it play out on their faces.
Two
and their eyes a
very
lot.
different journeys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My favorite thing that Guy does is when they hear it on the radio, and they're all like, Faye and the bass player come in, and they're so excited, they're jumping up and down, and they're kind of spinning around, and Guy sort of like stops and sways for a minute and turns and points at the radio, and then he immediately starts plugging it in. Yeah. And there's just the way that Tom Everett Scott does that is so natural and like
inclusive.
Yeah. It just like, I don't know. That's, I think, my favorite thing that really takes me in to that moment in time when they're all excited about the record.
They're so happy. You just want to root for them from the beginning. Yeah. And I think, there's other little things like when she's about to get left behind, when they leave Minnesota or they leave Wisconsin, she's about to get left behind. And she's going, Jimmy, Jimmy. And Jimmy almost turns around, but then gets in the car. And Guy turns around, notices face not there, goes and grabs her.
I think it's his sincerity. Like, he's just completely sincere.
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget about Faye. She's got to come with us. She's been here since before me. He sticks up for her in Pittsburgh to let her into the theater, carries the food with her. It's always him doing the dirty work. Jimmy thinks of himself as the king of the band, and to do those other things are beneath him. Yeah. But Guy doesn't feel that way. He wants to take care of everybody.
He's like the most popular. I mean, pretty soon, all those signs that are like, shades, like he's kind of the dude. And he's who Tom Hanks hooks onto. And he's who Horace goes to in the beginning. So very magnanimous of him.
How do you feel about Lamar?
Oh, Lamar is great. Lamar was so nice. I liked that it wasn't 100% clear if he knew their names necessarily, because he just called them squires.
Yes.
And things like that. And so that was, I think a lot of the second half of the film just harkens back to, like, this is what it was like in the 60s in LA. And you've got the actually nice hotel where wouldn't it be cool if there was a great concierge guy up there in the front, and you've got them doing their silly Gilligan's Island movie where it's obviously going to be bad. And Jimmy's right about it being bad. But at that age, you have to just let yourself enjoy it. And you're cashing the checks. Like, you don't have to be like, this is hurting my artistic credibility. Like,
yeah,
he's
do you
not
have
wrong.
to be?
It is kind of hurting his artistic credibility. But he's a pop sensation. He's not Pink Floyd.
Right. It's like we said, if you want to reach the audience, there's going to be things that you have to give up, and that's what you have to do.
It's give and take for sure.
I like so the thing that I love about Lamar is how he's taking care of everybody.
Yeah.
And I know that when we get really good service, because that is a service job, when you get really good service at a restaurant or wherever, and you have that person that's like, you just have regular people and the baseline is just like it's good service or whatever, but you have some people that are just extra pleasant and they just by being around you, like infuse a little like sunshine into your day. Yeah. I don't expect them to do that.
If they do any little thing, remembering your name or your room number or like answering a question that you were about to ask, like any of that stuff is enough to put something over the edge with being a really good customer service for sure.
And it just makes the person, like it makes me feel so good and like warm and fuzzy inside. I can't even, so I always try to leave them really good reviews. So I would have left Lamar, like I would have been like, this hotel is great. The guy out front was amazing.
What'd you think about the whole portion where as soon as they get hired for the state fair stuff, all of them get really immature and they're going, oh my gosh, I loved you. You were my first album. And like those stars are with clearly it's very obvious that they're being dismissive and it's
on
stupid
very
that you're asking them
journeys in this music career. They're like, I've been there. I'm over it. You don't have to. Yeah. I think you're
clearly pestering me. Like take a hint.
I think it's the natural evolution.
Just to remind us that they're young. Because up until then, we've been like, these guys are great. Everything's great. Like we're following them right along.
Well, nobody prepared them for what they were going to be in really either.
Yeah.
Like they
Tom
just
Hanks should have.
Or Horace.
I mean, Horace is living in a camper. Like Horace got him on the radio. I'm not expecting Horace to be given a lot of
Tom Hanks should have. Advice. Yeah, I agree. And he should have prepared them for when they went to meet Saul Seiler.
Some media training for being on the radio.
Yes.
That's so funny, the radio spot where they go, hi, and he goes, all right, leave your headphones in there. Like that's all they had to do.
Okay, that's it.
So here's the deal. I didn't realize it was going to be a one-hit wonder until the end. Until he was like, one-hit wonders. So sadly, it's so common. And I was like, how did I not notice this? They were the wonders. That was clearly...
one.
I might have enjoyed the movie more if I had realized it from the beginning and been like, okay, this is about a one-hit wonder. Because I was like, yeah, why is he acting like this? They're about to cut another record. It's going to be great. Like, they're just taking off. And then when he said one-hit wonder, I was like, of course that's what this is about. How did I not realize that was what this was about? So funny.
I love how, bits that I really enjoy. You look wonderful in black. Have I told you that?
He does it for all their colors.
Red, yeah, all of the colors, which is really fun. I also really love, and I remember this differently, but again, we watched the extended cut, so I don't know if it's slightly different in the regular theatrical version. Mm-hmm. When they're riding the plane and Lenny is messing with the candy wrapper. Mm-hmm. So Jeremy and I do this all the time. Like if somebody is being ridiculously noisy and we're trying, like we need quiet for whatever, just be like, Lenny, stop it.
Give me that paper.
Yeah, give me that paper.
Like, just even get up in the cockpit. Tell him it's your birthday.
Go see the captain. Yeah. So that's a bit that we just repeat all the time, which I was surprised that is slightly different than how I remember it being. So that's definitely a fun one.
To compare that to.
How about all of the Del Paxton, the jazz stuff, actually?
So that was setting up. And then him on the jazz radio station, all of that is setting up that he like really just is this lover of jazz and that's his real passion and he's really into the music of it. And I thought it was fine. It didn't like move me or like teach me a bunch more about his character necessarily. I think it helped give him direction once he realized what the deal was. And this whole experience, the one hit wonder thing, got him a connection, right? It got him an in, it like led him in this direction. And I'm sure that they made money on the whole thing.
Oh yeah. And they'll make residual money from the repeats and everything.
Yeah. Back in the day when you could actually live off of something like that, or I mean, that was a thing with cable, right? I mean, so now how it's like Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus are all going to bundle together. Like I'm probably saying the wrong ones, but there's like a mega streamer bundle and they're like, and people are joking like, oh, wow, so we just have cable again. And it's like, yes, but this way they don't have to pay actors residuals. And so it just sucks more, which is just frustrating. Like I wish that it was easier for me to participate in an ethical consumption. There's no ethical consumption under capitalism, depends how far you want to go with that kind of thing, but it sucks that the only people that still are making money on TV really are like Jerry Seinfeld and like Steve Carell, like just like where reruns are actually happening. But that's a soapbox that I don't have to get all the way onto today, whenever you are watching this at home, listener.
I am very uneducated when it comes to that. I understand the concept, but I don't know what's really...
Yeah, I listened to enough podcasts during like the WGA strike and some of those kinds of things that I follow a lot of writers and sports writers and stuff that I've learned just enough to know that I always side with those. I mean, you never want to side with the bad guy. You never want to sign with the cable companies. You want to be on the right side of history.
An undervalue and underappreciated, and maybe because it's all subjective, but it's definitely, I feel, undervalued and underappreciated in any creative occupation.
Yeah. Or just the thing where you've got all these industries, like like Red Lobster is filing for bankruptcy and people are joking like, oh, it's because, well, you can eat shrimp. It's like, no, it's because an investment capital company bought up Red Lobster and then immediately sold all of their property and then rented it back to the franchisees, because whenever corporate capital can get in to try to make a buck, it just ruins the thing that was there and then things are dead.
So you're really feeling Jimmy now.
I mean, it's different than back in the 60s. I mean, a little bit, there's a little bit of, Tom Hanks is a good guy, but he's representing this organization that it is clear is not like sincere music lover stuff. Like when you get into whatever his name is, Soul. So yeah, I mean, there was some like, okay, dude, like they have some songs in them, like let him do it. There's a little bit of that, but for a lot of it, he really is babysitting them well. He's getting them on the plane. He's watching out for him. He knows Faye's name. He's, got her hooked into this and that. So I think it just gets worse. I think it's worse now than it was.
Yeah,
then.
For sure. Okay, just a note, this song, That Thing You Do, was written by Adam Schlesinger of Fountains of Wayne, who sings Stacy's mom.
Yeah, so I've heard it said that they, or at least he, kind of hate or regret Stacy's mom because he's like, no, we're a much bigger band that this isn't a one-hit wonder. And he has written he's written hits for other bands and stuff like that. I'm not an expert on what those hits are, but I've just heard it said that he, kind of like how Dolly Parton has written a bunch of stuff for other people that she doesn't always get the credit for, or Carrie Fisher writing.
Well, right. That's the thing.
Editing a bunch of movies.
You don't get to pick what people associate you with.
And what your legacy is.
Yeah. So it's just, I think you have to accept that, which is so much easier said than done.
But in some ways, Jimmy's right, because you got to be careful. I mean, at what point is when Idris Elba is getting his honorary Oscar for whatever, and he's this great actor, but is he going to be known as Heimdall to what percentage of the country? You know? Well,
that's just like you were saying. Well, I mean, the Liv Tyler example is very different, but that's not the first thing I think of her in.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's the first thing you think of Viggo Mortensen in?
Hidalgo.
Sure. I've seen Hidalgo.
Or G.I. Jane.
Okay. I've in shocking no one, I've not seen G.I. Jane.
That's definitely a movie that it's better than, okay, if I'm looking on a scale of movies that Jessica would like or movies that Rogge would like, it's higher than my like Kingsman movies.
Really?
Just to say higher on the scale of that you would like. I'm not saying it's better than those other movies or worse. I'm just saying. But
Orlando Bloom,
Legolas for sure.
I might think of as Will Turner before I think of him as Legolas.
I think of him as Legolas.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's because I really liked him and Gimli's like
their little odd couple thing they've got going on. Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so good.
Was he Legolas before he was Will Turner?
Probably. When did the first Pirates movie come out? 2003 or 4 or something. I'm going to go see extended edition in theaters in Fort Wayne. Not this Saturday, but next Saturday. If any listeners want to join me.
So he was younger than Legolas. So he's Legolas first.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good song. I thought it was a good movie. It was just fun. The pacing was really hot. Pacing was hot. It kept it moving. We didn't linger anywhere for too long. I was surprised that it was paced up as much. I thought it was all going to take place in Erie, Pennsylvania, which I wouldn't have minded either. It would have been a little bit like 10 years later of Grease, or like Grease meets Stranger Things or something. So I thought the acting was in general really good. There were some fun cameos. My favorite by far being Bryan Cranston as Gus Grissom for some reason. So I thought it was pretty well written. I thought Tom Hanks did a really good job. Is this his directorial debut?
Yes.
Wow. Passion project for him?
Right after, I think I was reading it, and it was right after or during his Apollo 13 stuff.
Okay. Right before,
maybe during press or after filming, but before release, kind of like in that area.
Ryan.
Yes, it would have to be.
Listeners, if you feel like you know the beat by beat, year by year of Tom Hanks's filmography better than we do, we would love to hear from you. If what's her name, Diane Dane, if she was very important to you growing up, or you want to go to Disney World with some Marines, please hit us up on social media at FlabberPod. I thought they were just making fun of him, and then he ended up there. I mean, like, that's just a joke, which is fine.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. We'd love to hear from you at FlabberPod on Instagram, Facebook, MySpace.
Oh my gosh, he's so much stuff.
Twitch. We should have a Twitch stream where listeners can just get on and watch me watch Lord of the Rings movies and like talk during them and be like, oh, I love this scene coming up, and quote them with me.
Apollo
we could do it with Harry Potter movies.
Was in 95.
Actually, Jeremy, write that down. We should do that this summer. I have so much time.
Okay. Also, Rita Wilson, Tom Hanks' wife, was the cocktail waitress. Yep. Marguerite. Tom
was
Hanks'
she trying
son.
to hook? Was she trying to? She hangs around there so people will pay her to have sex with him, or was she just trying to go home with him because he's a young guy?
That's
okay. Because she had a nice car. I didn't think she was a pro necessarily.
I don't think she was. I think she was just like appreciative that he tipped her for making sure that he got back to the hotel.
Well, Tom Hanks tipped her, right?
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like he was like,
she didn't like stuff it straight into her bra. So
yeah. Oh, and Colin Hanks, that's the other guy.
His name was Chet. Is that a different Hanks? Chet is the one that has dreads and uses a Jamaican patois, right?
Colin is the one in this movie.
He plays
His
the
son.
usher.
He plays the usher that sees Liv Tyler to her seat.
Jess, can you imagine being able to leapfrog over a parking meter?
I know.
Is that just so
I
far
wouldn't
out
even
of your realm of
try.
possibility?
I don't even know what they're even thinking. And Rachel and I laughed at this because she's like, I think it's so funny when people are doing dumb stuff and then it just bites them in the butt.
I just liked that it was happening in the background.
Right.
Because Faye and Jimmy,
they're still on the chords.
Bassist, are just having their normal conversation up there in the front.
Oh, the chord vets. That's it.
I liked chord vets.
Chord, chord.
I liked chord vets. And then it's just happening in the background, and Steve Zahn is just like laughing at him. He's really good. He's really good.
He's one of my favorite, like low key. You see him and you know he's going to be fun, which maybe is typecasting a little bit. But
I don't know if I've ever seen another Steve Zahn movie. Jeremy absolutely taken aback when I said that. He's like a character actor. I like when they are first on TV and they're getting the different shots of them. And he goes, "Okay, here's like a handsome young man, a wolfman. Okay, too scary. Next.
Move on.
Shades. There it is.
Nice and easy.
I love Wolfman underappreciated. Wolfman.
Well, how about that?
Always did him clean.
The studio, like session players or just professional musicians that come in to play on the record for an artist that, needs the bass player or whatever, like how they have to be able to play competently well and pick up somebody else's style and then just move into it. I think that's underappreciated too. I think music is underappreciated. Like,
yeah. When someone has
easy.
Skill and talent to just be able to jump in on stuff, it's so impressive to me.
It's definitely a processing thing. They just they catch it and can do it.
You have an ear for it. I mean, but that's not to downplay. I mean, the work that people put into learning their scales and what goes together and all the different things. And string instruments especially. I'm like, how the frick are you doing?
So much practice.
I got pretty good at Guitar Hero at one point. I could play songs on expert for like almost all the songs. And that was with me. I played every song on medium till I got them 100%. And then I played on hard till I got all of them 5 stars before I let myself go to expert. Like I had to put in the work. And that's with 5 buttons.
There's this show that Jeremy and I watched called The Newsroom. And there's this episode where they're playing Guitar Hero. And the one chick is playing.
Is that Aaron Sorkin?
Yes.
Okay.
The one girl is playing it behind her back with her eyes closed or whatever. And she's playing this guy named Jim. She's like, I am just crushing you. And Jim's like, I don't even know how you're doing this. I can play a real guitar.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a different skill.
Yeah, different skill.
When I watch, people play, especially guitar solos and stuff, I can almost understand how to do chords. I can almost like conceptualize, not me doing it, good Lord. I can almost conceptualize it though. But then when they're like picking and like doing fingering stuff, I'm like, that's just the coordination.
It's muscle memory too.
It is,
like,
the time and effort that goes into that is so impressive.
The dexterity that you need to do it to get a good sound.
Here's what we need to crowdsource. Someone out there, a listener who plays guitar, needs to do an acoustic version of our theme song or something. Or it doesn't have to be guitar, on a different instrument. We'd love to hear, we'd love to have you send them in on organ. Yeah, an electric organ. Send them in to flabberpod@gmail.com. Could we? I'm just assuming yes, we could insert it as the intro music for an episode if we really needed, if it came through that way. We'd love to hear it.
For sure. Or if you have any thoughts or comments about that thing you do or something that you would like us to watch and check out together.
Call in and play it into the phone.
And you can call us at 240-MOVIE-76, 240-MOVIE-76, or you can comment on our YouTube or Instagram.
We have to do 1776 for our 76th episode because we're movie 76. I've only ever seen the stage production.
I don't even know what it is.
It's about the writing of the Declaration of Independence or something.
Oh, okay. Not what I was thinking. I was thinking of...
Never to the left, never to the right.
I was thinking of 1918?
1984.
No. The World War I
1917.
1917.
The one that was all shot in one... It was all one shot or whatever. That's crazy movie. I haven't seen it.
Rogge, would you watch That Thing You Do again?
Absolutely. I thought it was really good. I'm probably going to have to in case I'm affiliated with any bands that are wanting to play the song in the near future. I thought it was fun. I would be interested to see what the theatrical version was like, just because I think I think that trimming off that half an hour might make it pop even faster. It didn't drag for me, but I'd be interested to see like just how snappy it gets in the shorter version. So yeah, I thought it was really good. I thought I would like it, and I did.
Good. I was not sure if you would like it, honestly. I was like, is this going to be too
fun?
Too fun, too chill. And I was really wondering if you were going to get all of Lenny's one-liners like and think they're entertaining, because I think they're hilarious.
We watched this together, listeners, and Jess and Rachel in the first 20 minutes are cackling in the back row, just bah, like to a point where I was like, I'm glad we have subtitles on so I can hear what the next line is. And they were like, Rogge, you're not laughing at these. Like, that's not how I'm appreciating all of them. I really enjoyed Lenny in here, but that's just not how I respond vocally to it. So it's fun to see the contrast in styles. I thought it was funny. I mean, you got to remember that one of my seminal texts that I grew up with is Grease. And so it kind of hit some of those same, like, the quippiness and the 50s, 60s aesthetic and some of that stuff that Stranger Things obviously is another one, which, I mean, it's set in the 80s, but it's small town in the 80s. So it's pretty much like the early 70s is the aesthetic. So I really enjoyed it. Tom Hanks is great. That means that one of my movies to be next. Let's see. You can watch, you can come with me to the extended edition of Fellowship in Fort Wayne.
I don't know if I got that in me.
4 o'clock, June 8th. Thank you, listeners, for sticking with me to the end of this pod, but between my various soapboxes and entreaties to get people to watch Lord of the Rings with me. And we will be coming to you again next time real soon.
Bye.